And proud to bring Mike Davis to the airwaves. And Mike is the founder of Article 3 Project. This is the one man that knows more about this Trump trial than anybody else on the planet, taking time with us, and we do appreciate that. Michael, welcome back to the show. Great to have you with us this morning, sir.
Thank you for having me.
And I like that you retweeted our conversation. I saw that. I re-X'd that out myself. It's just so fascinating exactly what's going on. And Mike, can I ask you this before we get to the Trump trial? And I see these things online, and we appreciate you being a true authority and truthful source on all of this. Did Fannie Willis meet with Kamala Harris in the White House? Are there this guy Colangelo, who's in correct me if I'm wrong, in the Alvin Bragg courtroom with Judge Mershon for the Trump trial? And let's go Jack Smith. Did they actually orchestrate this attack, this lawfare against Trump, out of the White House, sir?
There's no question, because President Biden's fingerprints are on all four of these unprecedented criminal prosecutions of President Trump. You had Jonathan Sue, President Trump's deputy White House counsel, help orchestrate the Mar-a-Lago raid on Trump, which led to two of Jack Smith's indictments. One for presidential records Trump is allowed to have under the Presidential Records Act, and one for the January 6th for objecting to a presidential election, which is allowed under the Electoral Count Act of 1887. It's also, you're allowed to object under the First Amendment. And then you had Nathan Wade, who is Fulton County DA Fannie Willis's dumb, unqualified boyfriend, actually billing his time because he's so stupid. He actually billed his time to Fulton County taxpayers. It's public that this absolute utter buffoon billed 16 hours. Nathan Wade billed 16 hours for his meetings with the Biden White House, including the Biden White House counsel, before Big Fannie brought her big dumb indictment against Trump down in Fulton County, Georgia. And then you had Matthew Colangelo, a senior Biden political appointee. He was the acting number 3 on the parachute team when Biden took over. This Matthew Colangelo worked for Tom Perez in the Obama White House for Eric Holder. He worked for Tom Perez as Obama's DNC chair. He worked for the Obama White House as a labor relations goon. And then he joined the New York Attorney General's office, the Democrat New York Attorney General's office, to run the lawfare against Trump. He joined the Biden administration after that, again, as the acting number 3, a very senior political appointee that oversees the civil division, civil rights, tax, antitrust, a whole bunch of the Justice Department. And then Matthew Colangelo went from being a very senior political appointee in the Biden Justice Department to Soros-funded Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg's office to bring this first indictment ever against a former president after the prior Manhattan DA, Cy Vance, the Manhattan U.S. Attorney, the Federal Election Commission, and Bragg himself declined. These 4 indictments, this is political lawfare by Biden. These are political hits by Biden. It's an illegal criminal conspiracy to violate Trump's civil rights and the civil rights of so many others for the purpose of interfering in the 2024 election.
And not to mention, Mike Davis, this Judge Mershon, this is scary. I mean, they don't allow, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mike, they don't allow certain evidence to be brought forth. They don't allow Trump to speak and defend himself. He's shutting down Donald Trump's defense. And by the way, this isn't about Trump. This is scary stuff, Mike Davis. Have you ever seen anything like this before in your lifetime? I mean, here you are, you worked with Supreme Court justices, you know this judicial system better than anybody. Have you ever seen anything like this? This is plain scary, and this is beyond Donald Trump, is it not?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen this in places like Zimbabwe and now in Manhattan or in week 4 of this trial. Let me just give you 4 facts that people need to know in New York.
Okay.
These are important. Number 1, key witness Michael Cohen, a disbarred attorney and convicted perjurer, is actually making money on TikTok trashing President Trump while he's going through his criminal trial. Number two, the top prosecutor, Matthew Colangelo, deployed from the number 3 office in the Biden Justice Department. Number three, the judge's adult daughter, Lauren Michon, has raised millions of dollars off this trial as a Democrat consultant and fundraiser for Biden, for Harris, for Adam Schiff, for many others. That unquestionably requires Judge Merchan's recusal under New York statutes, even according to a former federal Clinton judge in New York. On April 5th, on Caitlin Collins' show on CNN, she said that. Number four, the Manhattan jury pool voted 87% for Biden. Guess what? If President Trump or even his campaign states any of those four indisputable facts, this Democrat judge, Juan Merchan, who donated to Biden in 2020 and whose daughter is making millions off this trial, has threatened to put President Trump in jail for that. That is clearly illegal. This gag order is illegal. These contempt orders are illegal. And guess what? On January 20th, 2025, when President Trump is back in the White House, his Justice Department must open a criminal probe on these Democrat prosecutors and Democrat judges and Democrat witnesses and these Democrat hellholes for their criminal conspiracy under 18 U.S.C. 241 to violate the civil rights of Trump and Walt Nauta and the other co-defendants in Georgia and the defendants in Arizona. This is a criminal conspiracy, and they're going to be the most severe legal, political, and financial consequences. So these partisan hacks running this lawfare, this illegal criminal conspiracy, better lawyer up now.
And Mike Davis, before we let you go, we appreciate your valuable time. You are citing certain laws that prove that this is indeed as you say, illegal what they're doing. But what's the recourse we have now? I mean, those of us who believe in the judicial system. I mean, I ain't no lawyer, Mike Davis, but my dad was, and he was a single lawyer, small lawyer, law firm representing blue collar workers. And I saw the goodness of representation on the legal front, you know. And we know so many great lawyers. What they're doing is destroying the whole legal judicial system in America, but there's no recourse now, because don't they have to go back to the judge who's running the case? How dumb is that, Mike, that we have to go back to this guy Merchan, who in my opinion is bought and sold? And is that our only recourse, is to go to him? And, or do we have to wait until Donald Trump is elected and changes it at that point? You can't do anything now. Am I right?
President Trump has what's called an Article 87 essentially appeal right now to the New York appellate courts, asking them to strike Judge Merchan's illegal gag order. They have been sitting on this for weeks, and I would say to these New York Democrat appellate judges, if you think you're going to get Trump and there isn't going to be fallout, there's going to be severe fallout. There is going to be a wrecking ball coming on January 20th, 2025, both from the Justice Department and from Congress cutting off the funding to these hellholes running this republic-ending lawfare.
Yeah, it's gonna be so scary. And Mike, so what happens with this? Again, this is so fascinating and it's so scary. By the way, you're listening to Mike Davis with Piscopo on the radio. Mike is the founder of Article 3 Project, former law clerk for Justice Gorsuch, former chief counsel for nominations for the U.S. Senate Committee on the Judiciary. You know what you're talking about. By the way, to that point, Mike Davis, you and I talked about from day one, the Supreme Court leak. Remember the leak that came out of the Supreme Court? We got nothing. I got nothing. Nothing became of that. There was a leak. I guess it was on the Alito opinion that was never addressed, Mike Davis, correct?
That's correct. And I will say this in defense of the Supreme Court, they actually interviewed everyone under oath. The person who leaked this, and everyone knows who leaked this person, she lied. And guess what? She'll crack at some point, because these little cupcakes always crack. And when she cracks, she's going to face hellfire for what she did.
Do we know her name? Is it okay to mention it on the air, Mike Davis?
Well, I don't want to get
fair enough.
I don't want you to get sued off the air yet, so we'll hold on.
We're one word away, man, from taking the microphone away from us. Mike, before we let you go, so Stormy Daniels' attorney, this Keith Davidson, claims that the payment from Michael Cohen was not hush money. So how does that play in this case, and how will this turn out now that is at least revealed in court, sir?
This case is a dog. We have a businessman, at best, settling a nuisance claim back in 2016. He puts it in his books as a legal expense in 2017. I've been a lawyer for a long time, and I've settled many of these nuisance claims on behalf of clients. That's how you book this. What else would you put it in your books as if it's not a legal expense when you're settling a nuisance claim? Somehow, Alvin Bragg, your moron of a DA there, who got Matthew Colangelo as his puppet master, brought these BS charges against Trump, taking what are at best time-barred bookkeeping misdemeanors. They're not even bookkeeping misdemeanors, but to play along with Bragg's dumb legal theory, you have time-barred misdemeanors from 2017. The statute of limitations is long since expired, and then you have 34 felony counts, and you have a president of the United States and the leading presidential candidate in week 4 of a criminal prosecution, a criminal trial. What the hell is going on in Manhattan? Have you guys let the maniacs take over the insane asylum? What is going on in your city?
Yeah, we don't know, and we always say they're elected. That's the scary part, Mike Davis. They're elected. So I have a mantra on my show, and I talk to young guys that are running and that are in the city council. There's like 2 or 3 that make sense in the city of New York, and we have to go somehow. You have to kind of reinvent a way to get people not to vote for these people like Alvin Bragg. Alvin Bragg has voted. Look what's happening. These hearings in Philadelphia, these crime hearings in Philadelphia. Why? Larry Krasner. What's happening with Gascon? And these people are destroying the country. Mike, it takes a lot of courage for you to do what you do, man. We appreciate it very much. Please keep us posted if you would. Thank you for doing such a great job. Hey, Mike, you know what I was thinking about, just as an aside? This is a movie. This is the way you turn the tide, because I come from the entertainment arena. You make a movie on everything that you're telling me about, and it's all true what you're saying. It's all fact-based, but the mainstream media doesn't have the courage to talk about it like you do or like we do on the radio, Mike Davis. What a movie this would make to show how wrong and how illegal this is. But you think Trump will prevail through it all, sir?
Well, I don't know if he's going to prevail in this New York trial. I think that this New York jury the jury pulls 87% against Trump, and then this judge weeded out the potential Trump supporters. He said that if you follow Trump on social media, you can't go on the jury, but if you follow Biden on social media, you can. So it's already a stacked jury pool, and this judge made it even more stacked. There's no chance Trump's going to get a fair trial. This judge has proved that, but guess what? We'll make sure that this judge gets a fair trial when we bring the criminal prosecution against him and so many others for his criminal conspiracy to violate Trump's civil rights. So lawyer up Judge Merchan and Alvin Bragg and Matthew Colangelo, because guess what? There are going to be severe consequences coming after January 20th, 2025, buddies.
Mike Davis, thank you, Mike, for taking the time. You've been very gracious with your time, sir. Thank you so much. Let's talk soon. Have a great weekend if we can.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mike Davis right there.